Elvis's death this afternoon was swift and unexpected, as Mason Granger reports.
Elvis Presley died here about 3:30 this afternoon. He had been found in his bathroom, unconscious, not breathing, was brought to the hospital by ambulance. Efforts to revive him in the ambulance and efforts to revive him here at the hospital were unsuccessful, and Elvis was declared dead at 3:30. He had probably died earlier in the day, sometime between 9 and 2:30, doctors say.
On August 16, 1977, the world stood still. Elvis Presley, the undisputed king of rock and roll, was dead at just 42 years old. He was a cultural earthquake who had sold an estimated 500 million records, changed the face of music, and made his home, Graceland, a pilgrimage site second only to the White House. But behind the myth was a man haunted by personal demons. How did the shy boy from a two-room shack in Tupelo, Mississippi, become a global phenomenon? And what were the forces that led to his tragic and sudden downfall? This is that story, from beginning to end. Elvis Aaron Presley was born on January 8, 1935, in a tiny two-room house his father Vernon built in East Tupelo, Mississippi. He was a twin, but his brother Jesse Garin was delivered stillborn, a fact that would forge an intensely powerful bond between Elvis and his mother Gladys. The Presleys were poor, navigating the Great Depression with help from neighbors and government food programs. The family's struggles deepened when Elvis was just 3. His father Vernon was jailed for 8 months over a forged check, a traumatic event that pushed the young boy even closer to his mother. But through the poverty, there was music. The family's Assembly of God church, with its foot-stomping, hand-clapping gospel, gave Elvis his first spark. At age 10, after his teacher heard him sing, he was entered into a local talent show. Standing on a chair to reach the microphone, he sang Old Shep and won a prize, the first glimpse of the megastar within. For his 11th birthday, he received his first guitar. Still shy, he practiced relentlessly. When the family moved to Memphis, Tennessee in 1948, his world exploded with new sounds, country music from the radio, and the raw rhythm and blues pouring out from the clubs on Beale Street. In the summer of 1953, a young truck driver walked into the Memphis recording service to spend $4 on a recording for his mother. The man at the desk was Sam Phillips, the founder of Sun Records. Phillips was on a mission. Having recorded blues legends like B.B. King and Howlin' Wolf, he was now searching for a white performer who possessed the sound and feel of black artists, convinced it would make him $1 billion. That first recording didn't seal the deal, but Phillips heard something in the kid's voice that he couldn't forget. A year later, he called Elvis back, pairing him with guitarist Scotty Moore and bassist Bill Black. The session was stiff and going nowhere. Then, during a break, Elvis spontaneously launched into an old blues number, "That's All Right, Mama," jumping around with a wild, untamed energy. Phillips stuck his head out of the control room. "What are you doing?" he asked. "We don't know," they replied. "Well, back up," Sam ordered. "Try to find a place to start and do it again." That moment became the spark that lit the fuse of rock and roll. The resulting single created a sensation in Memphis. By the end of 1955, Sam Phillips sold Elvis's contract to a major label, RCA Victor, for the unheard-of sum of $35,000. With the power of RCA behind him, Elvis Presley didn't just become famous, he detonated. 1956 was the year that changed everything. His first single, Heartbreak Hotel, shot to #1. His television appearances on shows hosted by Milton Berle and Ed Sullivan sent shockwaves across the nation. His raw energy, swiveling hips, and sexually charged performance style were unlike anything mainstream America had seen. For a generation of teenagers, he was the personification of rebellion. For many of their parents, he was a threat to the nation's moral fabric. Critics called him vulgar, and some programs famously refused to film him below his waist to censor his dance moves. The controversy, of course, only fueled his ascent. He was merging country, gospel, and R&B, bringing what was once considered black music to a massive new audience and breaking down racial and social barriers in the process. Songs like Hound Dog, Don't Be Cruel, and All Shook Up became anthems for a new youth culture. He was no longer a singer, he was a cultural earthquake. By the end of the decade, he was the undisputed king of rock and roll. At the absolute peak of his fame, Elvis was drafted into the U.S. Army in 1958. The king of rock and roll traded his gold lame for Army fatigues, serving as a regular soldier for 2 years, much of it in West Germany. It was a calculated public relations move by his manager, Colonel Tom Parker, designed to make Elvis more palatable to older, conservative Americans. But his service came at a personal cost. While stationed in Germany, Elvis received the devastating news that his mother, Gladys, had died. He was granted emergency leave, but those close to him said he never fully recovered from losing the center of his world. It was also in Germany that he met Priscilla Beaulieu, the young teenager who would later become his wife. Upon his return to civilian life in 1960, Elvis was a changed man. The Colonel steered him away from rebellious rock and toward a polished, family-friendly image. He spent the 1960s starring in a string of formulaic but hugely profitable Hollywood movies like Blue Hawaii and Viva Las Vegas. Having retired from live performances, many began to feel the King's most vital days were behind him. By 1968, Elvis was in a creative cage, trapped by a cycle of forgettable movies and losing his musical fire. With the Beatles and the Rolling Stones now ruling the music world, he felt like a relic. An opportunity for a television Christmas special arose, but Elvis and producer Steve Binder envisioned something far more ambitious, a chance to remind the world exactly who he was. The result, known as the '68 Comeback Special, was a resurrection. Dressed in tight black leather, Elvis was raw, magnetic, and hungry. In an intimate sit-down session with his original bandmates, he tore through his classic hits with a fire no one had seen in years. This was not a nostalgia act, it was a reclaiming of the throne. The special was a massive ratings success and proved without a doubt that the King was back. Fueled by the triumph of the '68 Comeback Special, Elvis entered the final chapter of his career. In July 1969, he launched a residency at the International Hotel in Las Vegas. Backed by a massive band and orchestra, he delivered a spectacle of rock anthems, soulful ballads, and gospel hymns, all delivered with his signature charisma. The shows were a phenomenon, shattering attendance records and redefining the Las Vegas residency. This success, however, led to a grueling long-term contract of 2 shows a night for months at a time. He had married Priscilla in 1967, and their daughter Lisa Marie was born in 1968, but the pressures of fame and the relentless Vegas grind took their toll. The couple divorced in 1973. Increasingly isolated, Elvis's health declined under the strain of a punishing schedule and a growing dependency on prescription drugs to manage everything from sleep to stage-ready energy. The dream had become a gilded cage. Elvis performed his final concert on June 26, 1977, in Indianapolis. Less than a month later, on August 16, 1977, he was found dead at Graceland home. The official cause of death was cardiac arrhythmia, but it is widely understood that years of prescription drug abuse were a major contributing factor. Elvis Presley was only 42 years old. The world was stunned. The boy from the 2-room shack in Tupelo, Mississippi, had become a global symbol of the American dream in all its glory and tragedy. His influence is immeasurable. He kicked down the doors of popular music, challenged social norms, and created the blueprint for the modern superstar. Today, his music is streamed millions of times, and his image remains one of the most recognizable on the planet. The man is gone, but the king is immortal.